Hello, and welcome to Comic Community News. This is the show that lets you know what's going on in the comic book community, lets you know the important things about speculation and the comic book market, lets you know about books coming out next week so that you don't miss important books that you really care about. And of course, lets you know about what's worth your time. What comic books should you be reading? Because we will break them down and give you those great reviews. We're part of Tag Team Thursday, and I'm doing this show live for the first time ever. So thank you for those of you hanging out live. But of course, if you're catching it on the replay as usual, leave me some great comics. I do really appreciate what you've got to say. But let's get into the news, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you, John. I appreciate you taking the time to join us here as well. We're going to start off as we usually do with the comic book speculation market, or as we like to call it around here, the paper chase. Yes, that's right. We are talking about those books that apparently we're willing to trade one kind of valuable paper for another kind of valuable paper. Yeah, those comic books that we feel like might be worth investing for the long term, or maybe those books that we want to get in our collection before they go up so high in value that we can't afford them anymore. If you've been watching this program all along, I've got some hot takes and comments. Last week we were talking about 9/8s versus 9/6s, but today we're talking about something a little different. Today we're talking about symbiotes. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on and heating up when it comes to Marvel these days, specifically X-Men or Venom. Everything seems to be about these two universes within Marvel. And I want to take a little time to talk about those red light, maybe hold off and don't buy them right now books. Yellow light, hey, if you can get them for a great price, do it books. Or green light books, the books that nobody's really talking about, but might be a better bargain for your money right now. So, of course, I'm starting off with this book here, the first appearance of Carnage in Amazing Spider-Man 361. Don't buy this book right now. I shouldn't need to say that this is a red light, but come on. Don't buy this book. Sorry, it's over here. I'm live. I'm not used to live. Don't buy this book right now. It's it's a valuable book. It's a good book. It's worth having for sure. But is it worth the insane money people are spending right now because he's got a trailer in this new Venom? No, don't do it. Of course, this is a classic book. It's an iconic book. Carnage is not going anywhere. He's going to be popular long-term. So there's a lot of long-term value. But in the short term, this book is spiking, and you shouldn't be running out and buying it. Let's take a look at some information on it real quickly. The 9/8s currently going for $1,400. Holy crud, people. And there are tons of them because this is a 90s book. So yeah, hold off on that. 9/6 is going for $550. Shout out to Go Collect for this information, and TJ Watson, friend of the program. So yeah, skip this one. Here's another one. We got Ultimate Spider-Man or Unlimited Spider, whatever this one is. Don't buy this one either. This is Shriek, the first appearance of the female Venom character that's going to be in the new movie. This is just bad. This is just bad. Don't buy this book. Another 90s overprinted book that is everywhere. Let's see how this one's doing. $120 for a 9/8. Not a horrible price, but this is Go Collect, meaning they haven't updated it based on the most recent stuff that's spiking like crazy. So that 120 is based on average, not on recent average. Recent average for this book is getting a lot higher, and this is a danger zone for me. So again, if they're in a trailer and you want to buy them, pump the brakes as best as you possibly can. So let's see what the chat has to say here real quickly. I've never been able to really talk to the chat during the show. Got some great people hanging out here. Of course, Tag Team Thursday crew, Rod the Rican holding it down in the chat. I've got the links to the whole tag team crew down below. You should definitely check them out. JP Budget Collecting, another budget collector like myself. Great channel to check out. Thank you for coming by. Just a few great homies in here. Oh, looks like Big Herm is in here. Shout out to you and the other PCP homies in the chat. Appreciate you guys coming by. Hey, there he is, the man who's usually closing out Tag Team Thursday, allowing me to take his spot a little bit this evening. So appreciate you, Justin. Let me jump in here. Everybody, I appreciate, Unruly Simeon, my good friend, saying avoid 90s Marvel. I'm not going to say I disagree. Not going to say I disagree. So let's get back to our list of speculating books. Let's jump on to yellow light books. It's hard to call this a yellow light book. This is arguably the greatest modern comic book key, period. This is a blue chip book if ever a modern book was. This book will not lose value. This will not plummet ever again. So if you can get a copy of ASM 300, the first appearance of Venom, do it. It's a great book, but don't overpay. And certainly while we're waiting for this movie to come out, that's a time when overpaying happens. Let the movie come out. Maybe it'll bomb and just completely nobody will be talking about it for a while. And these prices can level off just enough for you to get a better deal on a good raw copy. But yes, this is a mega grail book and definitely something worth talking about for the long term. If you're a Venom fan or a Spider-Man fan, this book is iconic. Definitely valuable. Record sales going on. 9/8, $7,750. 9/6, $2,300. Yikes. Yikes. These are like mega grail prices, but it is a worthwhile book in a yellow light for me if you can get it. Here's another one that I want to throw as a green light for you. This is Amazing Spider-Man 654. For those that don't know, I'm a big fan of Flash Thompson as Venom. He is a cool freaking Venom, and this is his first appearance. It's on that side again. I suck at this. Man, I'm not used to doing this show live. Yeah, love me some Flash Thompson as Venom. This is an underrated key book that I think you could get a really good price on. Not a huge spec price book, and yet also could be something that eventually blows up big time because I think this story could end up evolving into something fun. We also have this book. This is Guardians of the Galaxy number 23, which is the first appearance of Clintar, the planet where the symbiotes come from. Super reasonably priced key. Another great green light if you're a symbiote fan. But more than that, look at this cover. Rocket Raccoon done in watercolor. I freaking dig this cover. It's a classic. So even if you don't blow up and get $100 out of this book, it's a $15 key with an amazing cover that you'd be happy hanging in your room. So definitely a fan of this book. Definitely a great green light spec key for you symbiote fans out there. I got one more symbiote book I want to mention for those green lights if you're trying to avoid the carnage spikes. Spider-Gwen number 24, the first appearance of Gwenom. Spider-Gwen becomes Gwenom. This is a really underappreciated book because, yeah, there's a fair amount of them, but a black cover like this, not a lot of people showing a lot of love for Spider-Gwen before that animated movie. This could be a book that you snag for a deal, and it probably is worth the price. So this is just one more great book I wanted to mention. As always, we're talking about speculation from the perspective of what I would do with my money. What you do with your money is totally different. So I don't want to tell you what you have to buy or anything like that. I'm just trying to help you avoid mistakes and maybe look at books that aren't being talked about or shown in trailers right now. So that's just my perspective. Let's jump over to say some hellos to the chat because we're live, unlike usual. Hello to Life with Two YouTubers. Sharon, I hope you're doing well. Simple Simon is in the chat. Hello to you in Australia. I hope you're doing well. Looks like KnowGood Comics likes that cover. And there's my man. Looks like, I'm guessing that's Chris from Lost in Comics. Good to see you, Chris. I hope you're doing well. Thanks all of you. Hey, Perry. Perry's got some sweet stuff coming. Tarantino fans better be ready for his reviews. They're coming up here soon. But that's it on our speculation watch. I appreciate all of you sticking around and learning a little bit about what I'm thinking for speculation. Now let's get back over to you, John. Thank you, John. Man, it's hard waiting for him to talk. But here I'm back. And now we're talking a little bit of reviews. We're talking about those books that I think maybe people aren't discussing enough. Those books that I think are valuable for your mind, not your wallet. Books you might want to think about reading and enjoying. So that means today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm not talking about books that are currently on the shelf. No. We're talking about books that I've loved since I came back to collecting. And that means I'm talking about one woman in particular, one amazing female in the comic book world that deserves a lot of love and appreciation. I'm talking about Karen Berger. Now, if you don't know who Karen Berger is, shame on you, number one. But those of you that in the chat and do know who Karen Berger is, you're probably clapping, jumping up and down a little bit, getting all excited. Throw some thumbs up out there for Karen, because Karen really is the person to thank when it comes to DC and Vertigo in the Vertigo era. She basically helped to get those amazing creators like Alan Moore to drop some incredible books and to really create some amazing, iconic pieces of comic book history. Sandman fans, Swamp Thing fans, Constantine fans, Fables fans like me all should be grateful for this amazing woman. And behind her, you can see, of course, some of the Alan Moore books that she helped to shepherd along as well. So specifically today, I'm going to talk about 3 of my all-time favorite books that came out of the original era of Vertigo. Those original books that were given and thrown in as part of this launch of this somewhat unusual company, Vertigo, that was going to publish adult fare like the HBO of comics, and really hit the ground running with some amazing pieces. Now, books I consider part of Vertigo are anything that gets printed by Vertigo now. Of course, the original run of Vertigo didn't just start off with Sandman. Sandman and Swamp Thing had already been published through DC quite a while, but later sort of retconned into part of what Vertigo did. The original few books coming out of Vertigo at the beginning were Shade the Changing Man, which I've never read, never heard of. Animal Man, which also I've never read, but I heard great things about. And the Doom Patrol. So those of you that are fans of the Doom Patrol show might want to also thank Karen for that as well. But I'm going to go with the 3 that we most connect with Vertigo. And I'm going to start off with Hellblazer, John Constantine. So yeah, Constantine existed prior to Karen taking over and launching Vertigo. But darn it, she really shepherded the iconic era of Hellblazer and John Constantine. I'm highlighting here the trade of Original Sins. If you've never read Constantine, this is where I would recommend to start. I've read a ton of Constantine and I really struggle with it. I'm just going to be honest with you. It's really dark, really depressing, really odd, really strange. But Original Sins, sorry, it's still over here, John, still over there, is really worth the time and something that you might want to check out if you're a John Constantine fan. We've also got, of course, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, the second real iteration of Swamp Thing. And this is the volume I have and that I've read, the Saga of the Swamp Thing volume, book 1, if you will. Amazing artwork. I recently read this and discussed it on a couple of shows. And yeah, this is the Vertigo book that most people connect to the Vertigo universe outside of our third choice here. Swamp Thing, iconic character. This is the iteration that most people remember when it comes to that story arc of who this character is. Who is Alec inside? What is the Swamp Thing, right? Great read, amazing artwork. So I recommend this as well. But that brings us to our third pick. The third one, the most closely connected to Vertigo, would be the Sandman. A lot of news recently on the casting of characters for Sandman. I'm incredibly excited for this to be a TV series. There's no way this is going to be cruddy. This is just too good of a property for them to blow it. So I'm excited to see where this goes. If you've never read Sandman, this is volume number 1. It's called Preludes and Nocturnes, and I recommend just buying it. If you're a comic book fan at all and you've never read it, take that time. Just take that time. It is worth it. It goes up there with Watchmen. It goes up there with, V for Vendetta. It goes up there with Dark Knight Returns. As far as just iconic comic book reading. So definitely high on my recommendations from my Vertigo picks. Let me know in the comments, of course, what you read from Vertigo or love from Vertigo. I'll do this again with a volume 2 because when I got back into collecting, Vertigo is kind of in its second phase. And stories like Transmetropolitan or Fables or 100 Bullets, those were the ones that were iconic at the time for sure. Let's jump into the chat. And of course, I knew my buddy Unruly Simeon would be letting me know what his thoughts were. He says, don't forget Preacher, which of course is another great iconic book at the beginning, heyday of Vertigo. I'm not as big a fan of that, but definitely worth recommending and checking out. I agree, Journey. You can't go wrong with Sandman, so give it a try if you've never missed it. Definitely something that I think people should be aware of for sure. So that's it on our review side. Time to head back over to you, John, because we want to hear a little bit more about what's coming out next week. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, there's always some great books heading to your store that you want to be aware of. And next week, I think there are some great books from Marvel, DC, and indies all around. I don't want you to miss out on anything. So I'm going to break it down for you, but I'm saving DC for last because this is one of the most amazing DC weeks. I'm very, very pumped. Next week, the first week of June, what DC is dropping. Let's jump in here for Marvel first off. You know I'm an X head. I'm reading all the X books. I'm trying at least everything out, even if they're crappy like X Corp, and I'm throwing it out and never getting issue 2. But I'm all about Marauders right now, and it's still over here, John. It's not over there. Man, live is really challenging. It's like I've never done a live show before. Marauders, it's just great. We're heading into the Hellfire Gala, which I know some people are excited about, some people not so much. I think it will be a very unusual event series. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of entertainment going out of it. And these covers are pretty amazing because check out some of these other Marauders covers you got. I don't know who the artist is on this, but this looks like they made Emma Frost look like J-Lo or something. This is amazing. Really, really dig the style here on this. And then my favorite of the set, I love these fashion magazine style covers. They're hilarious. I think this is really an original idea that I haven't really seen in comic books very much. So I think it's perfect for what they're doing. And of course, Emma Frost looking smoking hot with the like crystallized leg going here. Digging it. Just digging it. All of it's working here. We've also got X-Force with the cover A of everybody arriving. Wolverine, I don't know, he's squatting up there. I don't know what Wolverine's doing at the top there. We're not going to worry about that. Domino looking all cool in her tuxedo, digging it. But come on, it's about these variants. These magazine variants are phenomenal. So I think this is just too cool, man. I'm digging this. And then you got Hellions with this hilarious cover. I mean, they're like swinging from the chandelier and running off with food. I'm dying. This is hilarious. This cover cracked me up. But this variant, chef's kiss. It's just amazing. I love the watercolor work here. This is fire. More of this, please. Great covers. But let's get into some indies. I've also got Hollow Heart issue 4, which I've been really enjoying. Cover A, it's all right, but I'm about this cover B. Look at this kind of fun, abstract cover here. You got all these little iconography pieces from the Hollow Heart story. I've been enjoying this. I'm excited for more of this. The story's unlike anything I've really read in comics before, so that is definitely something that goes high on my list of enjoyment. I'm going to look for this variant. It's still over here, not over there. Definitely going to get more of this for sure. Looks like X-Men swinging from the chandelier like Sia, right? I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm just trying to make this work here, man. Just trying to make it work, right? Keep it coming. So other indies. How do I not mention my guy, Savage Dragon? So for those that don't know, please don't spec on this book. Don't run out and buy this book because you're like, ooh, first appearance of North Force, hot new Image team. Just so you guys know, this is a reprint of pages and panels from a Savage Dragon issue. So if you want the first appearance of North Force, it's not this book. This is the kind of reprint of the first appearance of North Force. That's why they're calling it an Image Zero North Force. Don't buy this book. Unless you're a Savage Dragon head like me and you want a cool Savage Dragon cover, then buy this book. It's totally worth your time. But I had to mention it because Savage Dragon, right? Come on. But here's a cool issue number 1. Aftershock, been on fire lately. They have a new issue number 1. This is called Out of Body. And I don't know the people behind this except one of the Miranda brothers from We Live. Inaki Miranda is doing the artwork. Well, that definitely gets me interested. The story has to do with a detective who wakes up in a coma, right? He's stuck in a coma, but he's awake in his mind. And he has the ability to astral project, meaning to go wander outside of his body. And he's going to try to solve the crime of what happened to him. How did he end up in a coma? This has a crazy, like Matrixy, Humphrey Bogart noir detective thing going on. Definitely curious about this. So I'm probably going to be snagging Out of Body issue number 1 just to try this out. Aftershock's been really consistent, especially this year. 2021 has been the year of Aftershock for me, so I'm going to probably give this a go. Fun variant here. Look at this creepy, I don't know, it's like Professor X's evil twin with the helmet thing. Definitely interested in this variant for sure. DC. Okay, let's talk about what DC's been doing lately. I've got 3 DC books coming out next week that I really am excited about. First up, I'm talking about Green Lantern issue 3. Everybody hated Green Lantern 1, and I respect it. I understand it. I didn't love it myself. Issue 2 was fire. I really liked issue 2. Took some big moves, did some really great twists, and set up my girl, Joe from the Far Sector universe, rolling into the main DC storyline. I'm excited. Love this cover. Jon Stewart like bleeding on the ground. I'm digging this. This could be a really great 3rd issue. And the variant, solid. Teen Lantern and Joe on the cover. So I'm very interested in issue 3. Absolutely. Then let's talk about our covers of the week because we're getting into Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing's been so good. Romfy's doing such a great job. And my cover pick of the week is this over here, still over here, is this really great variant, the cardstock cover for Swamp Thing. Love it. This is just really creepy cool. Throwback to the Vertigo era of Swamp Thing. So yes, definitely more Swamp Thing. Cover of the week. Snag this if you can. It's just a regular, $1 extra DC cover. Always worth it. But let's get to my pick of the week. The book I'm most excited to read this next week is definitely Far Sector, issue 12, the finale. The story is over and done. I've really been loving this. I think it's a really great saga, and I think would make a phenomenal trade paperback read, although it'll be 12 issues, so it's gonna be a hefty trade paperback. Really worth the time. Love the variants and love the art. Jamal Campbell is amazing. And of course, J.K. Jemisin is writing really well, doing a great job with this great science fiction story. Here's the variant with the falling stars and everything. This has just been really good. So this is my pick of the week, that book I'm going to read first before anything else. I want to know how this all wraps up. I want to know how they're going to end up bringing her into the current Green Lantern universe. So I'm looking to see how do they bridge all of these things together. How does this Far Sector storyline chronologically fit into current DC? So definitely excited about this for sure. There it is, 4-color commentary saying Far Sector's cover, the Falling Star cover, is fire. Absolutely agree with you. And then we got Bearded Comic Brew saying he thought for sure it was Batman. No, not Batman. Sorry, no Batman. This is a non-Batman household, unless you're talking about my trade paperbacks, in which case I'll talk Batman classic reads all day. I got three short boxes here just of Batman, so I'm all about it. Those are my picks coming out for next week. If anybody wants to let me know, of course, what books they're excited for next week, leave me a comment. I do appreciate it. But for now, we're going back to you, John. Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Yes, that is it for us. Those are the important things that you need to know in the comic book community right now, the things that are happening, the books that we're excited about, those books that we're reading, those books we're specking on. As always, this is Tag Team Thursday. I have the links for all the other members of Tag Team Thursday down below. And if you're looking for more great content all day, every Thursday almost, we are just rocking and rolling from the time you get off work till the time you're ready to go to bed. You got Tag Team Thursday to carry you home. I appreciate my friends dropping links, letting people know what's going on. And as always, we will see you back here soon for another Tag Team Thursday. And until then, stay classy, comic community.